You're good now. Welcome, everybody. Today is June 22nd, 2026. This is the Village of Hannah City Council meeting. For everybody, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Danny, are you just here to observe this evening, sir? Danny? You're muted, Danny.
Sorry, you caught me washing my hands. Yes, I am.
Thank you. Michael Miller, are you here to observe this evening? Michael, can you unmute yourself, please, and address the board, please? Michael? Go ahead and remove Michael for non-replying. Sally Hanlon from the Greater Peoria Economic Development Committee. You were up, ma'am.
I am. Thank you very much. Again, just kind of a way of introduction. I'm here regarding the Peoria Rural Enterprise Zone, Amendment 3. The village has been part of it since 2017 when it was certified. And I did bring some area maps that shows the entire area here. I'm going to take one and pass it around. Just want to start them around that way. That'd be super. So, because this time, unlike the other times we've just added parcels, we are adding a unit of government. When it was originally put in certified, the Village of Broomfield was not in it, and the Village of Broomfield has approached the county and requested to be part of it. So as you will see on the map, it follows the perimeter of the county. So unincorporated Peoria County is kind of the golden, and then you've got Chillicothe, Princeville, then we're adding in Brimfield, and then Elmwood, and then of course Hannah City are the areas that are included. So besides adding the Village of Brimfield, they're adding some parcels. So they're adding 17 parcels, primarily along Knoxville, which is Route 150. As you come into town, their main street there, and then there's some parcels that right before you enter the town by where the OSF facility is going to be built there. Peoria County is adding 19 parcels, and those are around, there's an area outside Princeville that's being added, and it's unincorporated Peoria County. And then Centennial Development, which is out by Edwards along the Kickapoo Edwards Blacktop there. There's a number of companies there that are looking to do some things. And then Kickapoo Edwards Blacktop down further, where the Peoria County Farm Bureau is going to be building their facility. And then there's another business that's going to be doing some operations there. And then lastly, Ashton Park, which is a remaining, I think, there are 9 lots that are from the residential that they want to add in. So that's your addition. So you're talking Peoria County, unincorporated, and Village of Brookfield. So accordingly, we did a new legal description and PINs numbers to add those parcels in there. So that's why the document is kind of getting hefty in size of what we're looking at, because we have a large legal description there. So there's 2 actions tonight. One would be referencing the intergovernmental agreement that ties you all together and the addition of Brimfield. And then the second document is the ordinance, your specific ordinance. They both look alike. If you have in your packet, they look pretty similar. They outline the terms, the incentives, qualifications. And I will state that each time we amend this, we do have to meet certain qualifications. There's like 10 criteria, like unemployment, vacant properties, CTE programs in the high schools and that. So these are the areas of workforce and economic development needs. So I'll kind of stop there and see if there was any questions.
So what's the benefit of it?
Sure. So the incentives. So there are two main incentives. The first one being waiver of the building materials sales tax exemption. So all of the building materials that go into the real property, so your concrete, your 2x4s, your building. The other benefit is a property tax abatement for a descending amount for 5 years. The first 3 years, it's at 100% of the development improvement assessed value. And then years 4 and 5, it's at 50% of that assessed value. So in year 6, you have the full value of the improvement that comes on the tax roll. So it's a lot shorter than the TIF.
Okay.
And if they are in the TIF or the business development district, then the tax abatement is not.
That is correct. That is correct. Yeah, it negates that TIF property tax abatement if they're there, and they can be invoked. Many places have that.
Yeah. So the public works property that we sold is in the Peoria Rural Economic Zone. So they've got a TIF agreement. But if they do something with Prez, it's possible that they could eventually get their building materials if they put up a new building tax-free.
Yes. Yeah, and then the third one is the waiving, the potential of waiving the building permit fee, because there's an enterprise zone fee that the village keeps a portion, and then Peoria County receives the other portion, and it's for doing legal descriptions and public hearing notices, and
So basically, they'd be voting on expanding the.
Yes,
That's basically what we're saying.
Yeah, so I will have 3 applications, as I was mentioning earlier. I'll need to follow up with the mayor. I just need the mayor's signatures on those. But I will have an application to add the village of Brimfield, a unit of government, an application to add their parcels, Peoria Counties and Brimfield's, and then and modify the incentives, because Brimfield's going to be waiving their portion of the sales tax, building material sales tax and property tax. So, and then I just, as a note too, Brimfield School District 309, when we added some other parcels along the Kickapoo, Edwards, Blacktop there where the gas station's going, they waived their portion of the property tax for industrial and manufacturing. And so I'm going to their board later this week to ask about residential, because Peoria County and the other units of government, including Brimfield, are waiving on a single owner-occupied single unit home for a duplex. It has to be owner-occupied. So that is allowing for infill of houses. Like Brimfield wants to have some more houses because they got a lot of vacant lots in town. So that's what they're looking at. At Ashton Parkway, I mentioned. We've already done several new homes out in that area, and in Chillicothe, the IBC waives their property tax too.
So we're already in the Prez. We've got our own area. It's basically our third economic development opportunity to come from TIF and BDD, except it's Peoria County. We're participating with them. All we're talking about is expanding. That's what you're voting on tonight, is to expand it. So we would need a motion on the intergovernmental agreement and a motion on the ordinance.
So I will entertain a motion to approve Rural Peoria Enterprise Zone intergovernmental agreement as amended and restated. So moved.
Second.
Motion by Weaver. Second by Johnson.
Do I need to?
A roll call, yeah, because you need a yeas and nays.
We'll roll call that. Weaver,
Yes.
Miller,
Yeah.
Pearson,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Purcell, yes. Motion carried. Now I will entertain a motion with ordinance number 22-06-01, 2026 amendment to the rural Peoria Enterprise Zone designating ordinance within the Village of Hannah City and intergovernmental agreement.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Johnson. Second by who? Weaver.
What was that? Ordinance,
22-06-01.
did we go back to China?
26-06-01. Thank you, Cassandra.
I'm like going,
22, man. Get this guy some coffee.
Been a long day.
That's what I normally,
First one
I'm the one that
was-
normally messes up the day.
approving.
What?
The first one was approving.
That was the amendment.
Intergovernmental agreement.
Yeah.
So the first one's the intergovernmental agreement, the second one's the ordinance.
A motion by Johnson, second by Weaver. And we will roll call that. Miller?
Yeah.
Pearson?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Purcell, yes. Weaver?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Your signature and dates right there.
And Sally, will you send us copies of everything? Is that,
Yeah, so I can take the original. Yes, yeah, you'll do that, and then I can take the original and your certs with you.
Okay.
And then I can make the copies, the two certified copies.
So we're gonna keep this as our document.
So this is your intergovernmental.
And then we
you
just
need
attach
and then you
this.
need two of those, right? Because if you want to keep, if you want to keep that, so we need another set of that. So do we need to have?
I haven't filled out the,
Do we need to have another set though? How many of these do you have? Because you want to keep an ordinance original. So,
yes, we do.
yes, so you
I'll make a copy of it once we sign it. And
for your
I'll
reference,
fix it, yeah.
you don't need to have an original one in your ordinance file.
We always have the original in our ordinance.
Right.
Well, then I gotta go make copies.
Okay.
Well, we have copies in the
Okay.
packets.
Well, that was changed.
Well, no, because the packets are wrong.
Yep. So
I'll be right back.
then this signature page goes on the back of this intergovernmental. And yes, I can bring. I'll take that with me.
You said you're headed to March.
Yeah.
Tell my Rick and
And then so you'll get a copy.
like we did on that one.
Yeah. Because I have to record one with the state, so I have.
Yeah, because
You get a copy
it's
of
got to
it.
have everybody's signature
That's
on it before
correct.
you can record it. So.
Yep. So that one. And then the final date would be Peoria County Board is July. So we go in, and that'll be the final signature, and that'll be as of that date,
Okay,
July
so
date.
but you need a copy of this, right?
I'm going to take these originals with me. Because that's what I'm getting everybody. It's my master. I will provide you. I can scan it and email it back to some PDF.
This is perfect.
Yeah. Yep. Do that.
And we're just waiting on the other ones for the other signature.
And I'm
That
pretty
way
sure
you
we
can
have
keep
the
it
right
as well.
So we just, and if we don't,
Yeah, but you
then
keep it
we
original.
everything will be able to
Right.
sign. You just need to add that to it.
You're doing that. I was wondering. So, the discussion of the residential has come up. So, and I think the
You
chili
need
coffee.
paper. I don't
Of
know how to
course,
do it.
Murphy's Law.
All right.
So the residential's come up. So like any vacant lots that you have in there, I don't know. if you
The
have
first
any.
copy I did was
Look at that,
I did, so I
but
don't have to-
that's what the Berkeley's trying to do is there's some vacant lots where there were homes and that. And so
Yeah.
they're trying to infill some more homes. Chillicothe, I think they're on, gosh, I think they're at 13 new homes. There, as you go down into the town, there's a subdivision off to the left. So,
Past the cemetery and everything, out
Yeah.
past the library.
Yeah.
Well,
Do I need to
See.
seal it?
Mhm. Yeah, so just kind of, I guess, more piece of that than in the past. It was a lot of manufacturing and industrial, but now with the need for new residents and homes, that's become popular.
So, are you, is
So,
one of these a copy of mine for me, or are you
so
taking
these
both?
certificates, I'm gonna take both,
Okay.
but when we get the other copy, so this is a master signature page, so I'll take it with me to Bartonville, I'll take it with me to
Okay,
the rest
so
of those.
here,
So I have two masters for the intergovernmental agreement, that's
okay,
this.
right, that attaches.
And
to
what
that.
I'll do.
You'll just send me
I
that page.
scanned it and send you the page, right?
Okay.
That's what,
I thought there was something else. Oh, she took it.
yeah.
I'm like, where?
she took it to sign.
And so if you want to keep this one,
Yeah, I will.
because I was married up with someone I had to
Yeah, that's what I did the last time.
Thank you, Cassandra.
Of course.
Thanks.
You're gonna. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Sorry. All right.
What's under that?
Yeah, we've got to.
Excuse me.
Do the ordinance number.
26/06.
Fill that up.
Sorry, I need to give you 1 second.
And I had 5 A's, 2 absent.
Just put a bulkhead
You 2 here?
I got the other one.
Okay.
You need to fill this Oh, okay, so I get to keep.
Make
Okay.
certified copies of this.
Okay.
Yep, thank you. Copies attached. The search tool.
Yeah.
All good to go?
Good to go, except I will need to, like I said, connect up with you. I won't need your seal or anything that on the
Okay.
application. Coordinate.
Oh, I gave you 2 of those.
So he works in Peoria Heights too.
So, yeah, I work in the Heights, so,
Oh, yeah, that works.
so yeah, you can call me. My cell number's on there, so you can call me if you need to meet up for lunch or
Sure,
something like that.
Yeah, and again, thank you very much. I'm actually doing not only the rural one, but the urban one as well. So I was at the Heights last week. So yeah, it's the first time ever I've done them together. I've always had like months in between or a year. But, so I've been on the circuit. So I do
I bet
appreciate
you
your
have.
time
Thank you.
and accommodation. Appreciate
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate you.
Thank you for what you do, Sally. You know, it's
Appreciate
great.
it.
It's a great benefit to the county, and so I'm in.
Cassandra's gonna have to show me that paper.
So we'll head back to meeting minutes approval. Everybody should have a copy of our June 8th, 2026 meeting minutes.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Sally.
Make a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes as submitted.
Second. Motion by Pearson, second by Johnson. Any further discussion, comments, or corrections? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And next, treasurer's report.
So the next installment of the linear bill is on this treasurer's report for $299,000. Sure, y'all saw that. There's also 2 bills from Ameren for the running the utility to the Public Works building. Other than that, everything else is pretty standard.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Jump scare.
Yeah.
It looks pretty short.
Yeah. That's fine.
But if those of you who haven't been over there, the building is on its way up. They give a time frame when they're gonna continue.
The original goal was to have the building done by the end of August. So, once the framing's done, then I assume the next thing they'll do is skin it, and it'll be the inside.
There'll be electrical and then plumbing.
Cross your fingers.
It looks big. That's bigger than I thought.
We want it big.
I know. I didn't realize it was going to block that barn behind it. I mean, from the front, you can't see that old barn at all.
You said the framing's up?
Yep.
Go look after me.
Cool.
Make a motion to approve the treasurer's report and pay all outstanding debts.
Second.
Motion by Pearson, second by Weaver. Any further discussion?
You got it.
We'll roll call it Pearson,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Weaver, Miller.
Yep.
Motion carried. Anything on the engineer report?
Nothing to
Brian?
report.
Anything on the attorney report?
Nothing to report.
Okay. Administrative report finish up?
We already covered press, nothing more to report.
Committee reports, Mr. Pearson.
Yeah, we've got the appropriations ordinance there in your packet. Vote on that tonight. Gives us the ability to do a few things. Ensures that the dollars are designated for the approved activities that we have for everything. Sets max spending limits for the fiscal year and gives us the ability to spend budgeted funds. Anything else, Mr. Baylor?
Just that the numbers are consistent with the budget we've already looked at and approved, so.
So I will make a motion to approve the 2026-2027 annual appropriations ordinance for the Village of Hannah City.
Motion by Pearson,
Second.
second by Weaver. Any comments, corrections, changes? And we'll call it Johnson,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Miller,
Yeah.
Pearson,
Yes.
motion carried. Planning and zoning.
So consistent with the email that I sent out, I did have a conversation with the Peoria County assessor. He affirmed what he had originally told me, that however we zone it will have little to no impact on their assessment of how it will be taxed. We have not had the three-way conversation with Tony Allwood yet. I was waiting for them for that. We're scheduled on July 13th is when we were going to revisit formally with them. We have another meeting between now and then, or is the 13th our next meeting?
13th should be our next meeting.
Okay. So tonight I just wanted to follow up on what I put in the email. After talking with our attorneys, basically there's pluses and minuses to each thing, but I feel like we have two options. One is to grandfather them in as ag for, let's say, 5 years, and then leave it as it is and see what happens with the tax assessment. The positives with that are if we rezone it and then this becomes a legal battle and all kinds of craziness, we won't be involved in any of that because we won't have changed the zoning. I'm not necessarily afraid of the legal stuff because I think we have the right to do whatever it is that we want to do, but it would be less of a hassle if we did it that way. The only risk really is other people coming in and saying that they want the same accommodation, but it'd be hard to say that because if somebody's going to develop a new property, part of them developing that would be the zoning of it. So it's not really grandfathering. We would make that change before they began the process. So I don't think there's a ton of risk there. The other is just to continue down the path and zone it as a business and move on. Again, I think the risk there is if it does become a legal issue, then somebody could point and say, well, Hannah City changed it, and so that was part of what caused it to change. But the positives are, it's right. Right is right. So I think those are our two options. At this point, I'm leaning towards, and I sent that out in my email, I was leaning towards the grandfathering for like 5 years or whatever. And we'd have to draw that up if we wanted to do that. I think it's the safer play by a little. And I don't think there's a whole lot of risk in it, and it keeps us out of if there's any legal issues that come down the road. And then Peoria County, if they change the assessment, it really has nothing to do with us because we didn't do anything with the zone. So, and I think Rod, you said on the note that that's kind of where you were leaning, and I can't remember. And you asked a question. I can't remember if you said you were leaning that way too.
I didn't give a leaning either way, but I guess my main question was, what was the property like when it was initially zoned and it was zoned like pure agriculture? It was zoned like a combo?
Well, back when we had the old zoning, it would have been zoned ag. I don't know if we had layers, but ag 1 or ag 2 or whatever. So, and honestly, I don't know the answer to that. I know the intention of when it was built, or when it was pre-annexed, when we zoned it ag in the annexation process, that it was, the intention was he was going to put the building there. In fact, I think the building may have already been there because the annexation was in 2012 or 13. You know when he built the building? Do you remember?
I do not.
It would have been about that.
So the intention was always that way. But having been involved in the annexations and stuff, I don't know that they give a ton of thought, to be honest with you, to how they're zoning them at the time.
Yeah, because it doesn't even have a year
because I
built.
think he bought it as it was farmland. It was all already farmland, and it was being farmed.
Right. But it's not.
So,
now.
but I think, did he pre-annex and to build his property?
The timing of
Because
that,
at the time that it was pre-annexed, it was still active.
based upon all the conversations, I don't know if the building was actually built or not, but I know the intention was to have the business there like the business is today, although it's probably expanded some because I do think he has some retail things out there now that I don't know that were in the initial plans. But certainly the intent was to always have the construction equipment business there.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
we
just
zoned
to
it.
house.
He was getting flack from Peoria County because he had it at all his house out in
Yeah.
the country.
I'm like, I think it was just to store the stuff there.
Because when you look at the tax bill for that property,
It's not much.
the property class is 0111 or 011, home site dwelling. But then land use is farm, non-owner occupied, which contradicts itself. And that's from Peoria County.
So yeah, I guess a few questions. One is that, it sounds like it was farmland at some point. If we brought it in, zoned as ag with a little maybe subcategory to it, but the intent was always he was going to put a business there.
Correct.
Was it zoned that way knowing it was just going to be fully business, or with the intent of it was going to keep some farm stuff with it?
My impression is, based upon the conversations, is that none of the paperwork says any of this, right?
Right.
So all I've got is Fred and others that were involved, and the impression I get is
And
everybody.
Fred is Winteroff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody knew that he was going to have what he has there now when he annexed it. And we zoned him ag as a result at that point, regardless. But again, I don't know how much thought or was kind of put into that, or I don't know. But I guess there is an argument I think that could be made. Well, when they annexed me in, they told me I was ag. So why are they changing now? And then making the argument that is what caused Peoria County to do what they did, which again, Peoria County says it's not, but maybe if lawyers are involved, they backpedal, and who knows, right?
So then
And
let's.
there's other farm-based agencies around the county that are businesses but are ag.
Well, Martin Weber out on
Footagers and
is it Mar Road?
yeah,
Yeah, they're commercial
where?
on Mar Road. Like you're going to
Klein or the John Deere dealer.
yeah, they're commercial.
So then I guess the next question is twofold. Number one, if it was that way, then why are we changing it? Which I think I know the answer to that. But number two is, like, before we changed it, if we had looked at it again last year, 6 months ago, would we have kept it as ag? None of us are assessors, so I don't know that we know the answer to that. But
I think I did ask the attorneys, based upon our new criteria, do you agree that this should be zoned commercial or business? And they said yes, based upon our new criteria that it is actually a business. It's not ag.
our new criteria.
Correct. Yeah. And so that puts us at a point where we're going to say, well, if right is right, we're going to make it commercial and business and move on and see what comes. Or because of the confusion and the lack of documentation and whatever, the misunderstanding, we're going to say, we'll leave it ag for 5 years and then it'll go commercial or business after that.
Because, part of me just wants to say right is right, and that's what it should be. But if our reason for making that change is purely just to simplify and set up for future use of businesses coming in, then yeah, that does kind of screw him in terms of like, no, it was set up for that. He fell under that category, and we recognize that category was fine. We changed that category. That's not his fault. That's us.
And the attorneys don't feel like there's a whole lot of risk if Herman Brothers come in and want to do the rest of it. We can say at that point, before we'll give you a permit to develop, you got to know it's going to move from ag to business, right?
So then, if we say you're grandfathered for a certain amount of time, what is he expected to do in that certain amount of time to get it to? Like, what does grandfathering do?
If we grandfather it, and you can't just grandfather for 5 years.
I think, based upon Shanna, I think we can.
I would say
think it's
I would say
greenfield.
ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about that, I agree, but what if he continues to own it and then just rents the
Until
property and
90.
sells the business, right? So then that gets complicated. And if we decide we want to go that route, I'll work with Sean and we'll figure out what the right language is, because she said maybe there's a way we can multi-purpose the property and do something else. And I'm like, I don't want you to run down that path yet until I have an understanding of what you guys want to do. So we would bring back a proposal if you said, we were going to grandfather.
But I guess my question is, like, what's the point of grandfathering? Like, what does he do within those 5 years to prep for the change of zoning that's going to happen in 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is that most people feel like he's going to sell the business and get out.
Yeah.
But again, that's why
I guess my question is, what are we telling him? Like, okay, we're going to grandfather you in for 5 years. Within those 5 years, if you want to stay ag, you have to X, Y, Z.
I guess I'd have to go back and look at the criteria, but I suppose he would have to farm a portion of it, but I don't think that would change the
Has to be
whole
an acre,
property.
Yeah, but
In other words, I still think the,
That back acre strip, you'd have to do something with that. But he said it's just.
but I think
But
at the end of the
what are
day,
we
I don't think that's gonna
considering
change,
farming?
I don't think that's gonna change.
It really doesn't have to change with.
Yeah,
others.
the building's still gonna be,
That would be how the county's gonna assess.
So then what's the point of grandfather?
That's what I think.
in my mind, the only point of grandfathering is if they lawyer up, if they get, community groups involved and all that kind of stuff, we can go, hey, we were gracious. We gave him another 5 years at his current rate. If they change the property tax, that ain't on us because we kept the zoning the same.
We really don't have nothing to gain or lose either way, really.
Yeah, to me, I just think there's a little bit less risk by grandfathering because that's going to force Peoria County to make a decision. Either the zoning's having an impact or it didn't. You follow what I'm saying? And if they change the assessment, we're good, right? Because we left it ag and we grandfathered it for 5 years. So if they change it, great. And if they don't, then
If they don't, then it has no impact. And
If you go to the next property over, which is the Herman brother property, and then you have the Cannonball one on the corner. But the Herman brothers property is actually classified as farmland. It's a 0021 farmland.
it's being farmed.
Right. But at the time if we haven't changed anything and they haven't changed anything, then his shouldn't have changed either. So his should still be.
In my view, they should have made him business when he annexed. That's what should have happened.
right, that's what it
But
sounds
could it
like.
be like an ag business? I mean,
We don't have those
got rid
categories
of
anymore.
Yeah, we don't have those.
But Shanna did say that we could multi-purpose it in some way. Maybe she was going to look into that. So again, I don't, and we'd have to do that through a special use. So again, what we would be doing then is we'd have to get the planning commission together. We'd have to write up all the legal documentation. We'd have to say it's a special use. You all would have to vote on it.
That sets a precedence for we don't really know what. Maybe nothing. Maybe something. Yeah, I guess, like, because we got rid of categories that existed that put him in there, I understand, like.
I don't know that that's true, though. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't know. I think it was a mistake. It's hard for me to.
But did we had like ag 1, ag
We don't
2,
know.
right?
We don't. Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. That's right.
It would
Yeah.
really come down to what were those categories? What is it like? What is it actually?
Yeah,
And having been involved in the process when I first came on, to be honest with you, I just don't know that it was that robust in terms of the analyzation of does it fit, does it not fit.
And if you look at the actual tax bill for farmland, under that, it says that 4.65 acres is cropland and 4.1 is other farmland. There's not 4.5 acres of crops out there.
Right
But
now,
how
zero.
big's that lake? Because are they calling the lake ag?
To me, I kind of like the idea of saying, hey, we're going to grandfather Peoria County, do whatever it is that you're going to do. Let's wait and see what they do. If they change the tax assessment, they can't say it's because we did anything, right? We're out of the whole argument, debate. Hannah City's clean, and we know we're eventually going to get it where we need to go. And the only risk of doing it that way is Herman's come in and want to make the same argument, but Shanna says if they want to develop and they're going to move it from farm to ag, we say at that time,
Yeah, if they already had a building there.
yeah, if you're going to develop it, then you got to know before you build that's going to move from ag to, whatever. So I think that risk is pretty low. But there again, I could be convinced either way.
I look at it like, okay, but what's the point of grandfathering? There's not really one other than that.
Yeah.
But if I look at it like, if Peoria decides they're going to keep it the same, it goes away. If Peoria decides they're going to change it, then it goes away for us and they go after Peoria.
I don't see the risk for the village other than you would grandfather now. I mean, if we grandfather now, then there's no difference in doing it now or in 5 years. He could turn back around and say, well, you know, it was this way before, and now I'm going to fight it. So, I'd rather do it sooner than later. If they're going to fight it, let them fight it.
I agree.
The only thing
You look like you have something to say.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm leaning towards I think it needs to be ag. It makes no sense to me to grandfather him in. He's not farming the property.
Business.
Or like thank you. He has zero farmland. We went through spending all these resources, time and energy into simplifying a system, and he's not falling into it. If he's going to sell the business, our decision is not going to influence that. He's going to sell that. Grandfathering it in only makes sense in my eyes if we say you have to farm, because at that point he's hitting our definitions, right? But I don't know. I don't like it. I think to be honest, to me it feels like there were some failures when this first happened, 2012, 2013, and I don't think as a board we should make a decision to potentially muddy up the waters. Like, the tax assessors has what they're going to do regardless. So it's one of those things where we're danged if we do, if we're danged if we don't, right? So if they come back and then they change the taxes, it's going to be, oh, well, regardless of grandfather or not, it's because Hannah City shined a light on it. But if they don't and we back off, you know, like,
But the thing is, yeah, maybe we shine the light on it, but as a taxing body within the state of Illinois, you know, why wasn't that being assessed properly by the tax assessor?
Exactly.
So that doesn't come back to us. That doesn't come back to us.
and if
That falls back on
anything,
Peoria County.
we're doing the taxpayer, like we are helping grandfather. We are helping one
You were
person.
grandfathered for 9 years.
Yeah. So like he's had plenty of time, and it just seems messy to do the grandfather.
So to me, the worst case scenario, and again, I don't know how realistic this is, but the worst case scenario is we change it to business. Peoria County backpedals and said, well, we changed the taxing because they changed the zoning. Again,
Which they told us they won't do. But
understand, but they could backpedal
Sure.
and say that if you get the lawyers involved. Well, so now all of a sudden we're involved in a lawsuit.
But Shanna said we have no liability. That's what I'm like. I get that we're trying to protect ourselves, but if our lawyers are already
Here's
telling
one
us
thing
there's
I'm going to
nothing.
say about if we open the can of worms and they do go the lawsuit route. He has A-bait in his back pocket. I've already talked to him.
What?
A-bait, another brotherhood in courts education. It's a big Illinois.
I knew what A-beta
They're
is.
very powerful and they have a lot of money. And they are very into land rights. Is that going to open up a huge can of worms? I mean, they have their own attorneys.
But here's the thing:
Yeah.
is what did we do wrong?
We didn't do anything.
No,
That's the thing.
but if they jack his
And
taxes
if
up,
we
they're
grandfather them,
just-
we're not admitting we did.
Yeah.
It's not us that's jacking his taxes up, though.
I
It's
know,
Peoria
but
County.
I'm worried about though opening up that can of worms. Do we
But
want to
what
go
would
down
you-
that road over just leave it lie? And then, like he said, it's less risky. I'm also kind of with him in a way. If you want to do business or not, it's business. But is it worth opening that can of worms and going down that road when we really don't have nothing to gain or lose? We're just kind of neutral. If we just leave it lie, we're neutral. And
Yeah, we
Well,
do.
something can be said that you're sticking to your principles and what you believe in as a
But
town
yeah,
too.
but then if Herman Brothers come in next door and say, "Oh, well, you guys didn't change his zoning,"
they don't have a building.
doesn't matter.
They just
It
have farm
does.
fields.
Shanna says, what in that case, if they came in and they said they wanted to build, we would just say up to them, in order to get the building permit, you got to know that the property.
He's already got a building.
The property's going to be rezoned to whatever the purpose that you're doing.
They don't.
So in other words, we wouldn't give them a building permit without them knowing that they would have to be rezoned in order to move forward.
my other thing with the grandfathering for 5 years, like obviously he was saying he's going to try to sell it 3 to 5, I think he said, right?
I don't know.
So let's say he goes to sell it in 5 years and he can't find a buyer. I can see like, can you give me another year because if I change it to business, nobody's going to buy it, or like, I don't know.
To me, then the answer to that is no. But
But you don't know that now. You'll have to wait 5 years to see if that happens. And
No,
at
I
that
understand.
point,
I hear you.
and then there's something else to be said. That's more time that we're sending our lawyer at the time to do more investigation, more time for us to do more talking about it. Like, I don't know.
My fear, though, is what he says is if we get drawn into the lawsuit because we changed the zoning,
But
that's going to take cycles and resources as well. And again, I'm not suggesting we've done anything wrong. I'm just saying that's a possibility.
That could be.
I mean, basically, what we're talking about here is
rabbit hole.
degrees of risk. I mean, I get the principal thing, and I get, nobody wants to admit or say that we did something wrong when we didn't, because we didn't. Again, I can be convinced to do either, but I'm personally leaning towards the least path of resistance, which is to grandfather for a certain period of time, extend some grace, let Peoria County do what they're going to do on the assessment side.
How often does something get reassessed?
And every 4 years is what they told me.
And so the last time was,
I think it's
It just
due up
my
again
value
next
is-
year,
yeah.
2027.
Just, I think like 2 years ago.
But they're going to look at it now, to be honest with you. I mean, this one, based upon what Peoria County guy said, they're looking at this property now. They're going to make
not
it.
surprised.
They're
Well,
going to make a decision on it
because
now.
it needs to be measured, and that's how you base the value of the
Yep.
property. Not because you say this or that.
They didn't have ink on the sign, so
Rod, you've been quiet. I know you've tried to talk a couple of times. What's your opinion?
Well, I still think that we got a grandfather. That's what he was told when he annexed in. That was the board at that time telling him that. It was a mistake that the board probably made at the time.
But didn't we confirm that he was never told that? Didn't you say that?
Fred says he doesn't recall having a conversation or making any
But
commitment.
the board approved it as ag, knowing it was going to be built upon.
That would be their greatest chip, would be to say, well, when they annex me as ag. So they
we
knew.
have, yeah, but things have changed, right?
I understand.
But to Rod's point, like that's why I have a little opening for grandfather. I don't know that I like 5 years,
Yeah, 3,
And-
2, whatever. Right?
especially if there's going to be a reassessment as soon as next year or imminently.
It would be next year at this point because tax bills have already been issued for this year. Well, from last year.
Yeah, 5 years is too long in my opinion. If we know they're already looking for
Either
it,
way,
it
if
makes
they
more sense in a year.
if they up his taxes, we're gonna get the money anyway, no matter which way we go with it.
But I don't think that was our intention. Our intention was
not
just
at all.
to get everything simplified.
And if we were to say you are grandfathered in again, like this amount of time, what do you think his goal then becomes?
Chuck the business. Chuck it.
Like, what's the goal? Is it the goal to get it so it falls within our ag, or to just prepare himself for a possible
Buys
tax
him time to
increase?
financially prepare, maybe, and changes his opinion on whether he sells it or not. Maybe he moves the business. I don't know.
I don't know. I guess if you were going to grandfather him, I honestly think you have to grandfather with the understanding it's going to change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't, because I think what's going to happen is you're going to have this ever-ending cycle of, well, exactly like you had said earlier, I can't sell the business, no one's going to take it, or, well, you approved this a couple times, it's just, I don't know. I'm a big fan of structure, and I feel like we need structure. So
Unless you sell the business. Then it stops and it becomes a business immediately.
The only concern I have about the selling of the business is if he doesn't sell the business. In other words, what if he just rents it out, or you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah.
Maybe we can figure out a way to work through that with the legal folks.
How many acres or total does he have potentially?
if I remember right.
4 or some. Well, no, not even that.
Potentially.
It's that he said he's got like 1.1 acre along the back or something like that he's currently
He's got like 10 acres all together.
That's why I said, how big is
Well,
that
that
lake?
pond. Couple.
That's what I'm saying.
So it says there, the parcel says 8.17 acres for the whole parcel.
I guess what I'm looking for tonight is the direction that you want me to go with Shanna and the legal people to begin preparing for the vote on the 13th. One option is we disapprove the documents as they are, find something you like about it. And the other would be figuring out the best way to grandfather until we see what Peoria County does, and then make the change at a later date. And skip around
I say we grandfather it until the property changes hands, and then change it.
That could be,
It could be 10 years, 15 years.
So, what's a change? Nothing. If the
Yeah.
taxes go up, we still get the tax money. It's not our fault.
And anybody else building new knows.
Here's the other thing I kind of have to get it too. Years ago, I talked about annexing my property in, and I too was told that I would have stuff grandfathered in. I never went through with it, and never anything was in writing. So I want to believe he was told something along that lines, because I was told the same thing 8 years ago about my body shop in my backyard. It's just my garage now, but I originally talked about bringing it in, and I was concerned about handicap parking, handicap accessible restrooms, blah, blah, blah. I was told I'd be grandfathered in under existing business. So, there's that too.
This is going to sound really bad, but the other thing I like about it is just it does put Peoria County on the spot. They got to decide absent any action by us.
But the other part of me goes, if you want to do business, you gotta do business.
Well, I think moving forward, we can take that stance, right?
I'd say if the assessment's coming up, grandfather in for a year,
Yeah, I'm not cool with
and then we're clear.
a year I'm cool with because it buys us time. If the taxes go up, we're good. We can reassess it, do business next year, but I'm not cool with
But
relying
then
on
would
this
we
line.
have to redo our whole zoning thing again?
We would just amend it. We would
Because
just-
that we have to look at too, because we're gonna have to
Yeah.
pay the lawyer to redraw up paperwork.
I don't think we have to
redo our-
change our zoning and zoning.
Well, because it's all in one packet right now. We were doing all one vote for everything.
I think the only thing we have to do is we would just change the zoning map and show that property's grandfathered.
Change the legal description for zoning is all we should have to do.
But I can work with Shanna on that. Yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Revisit it in a year and see what happens. That puts Peoria County on the spot.
Well, they won't do nothing.
Find out where that is for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's gonna be before this day.
Yeah, no, I can call him, follow back up with him. I can send those guys a note and say, hey, I thought we were all three going to talk and see.
One other question just on the whole topic, like,
Yeah.
should we have, when we were redoing that code and rezoning things or simplifying things, should we have contacted the assessors to have them look at certain things and how it was going to affect, or?
Maybe,
We had
I mean,
a public
to be
hearing.
honest with you, the only people I had conversations with were Farnsworth. And because there was only, at the end of the day, there's only two properties that were changing, right? And one isn't impacted because they're nonprofit. So I didn't contact Peoria County or the assessor, and maybe I should have, but I didn't. I only did it because my motivation was, after talking with Eric, well, shoot, I want to understand what impact it's going to have on them, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
blame for
our motivation wasn't to,
Of course.
get him, you know what I mean, or get more money. It was just to make it right, simplify it, make it right, and move on. But I think it's going to be something that comes up because, like, any houses that get sold along 116 or whatever, what are we going to do with it? Here's another great example right now is Honiger's office. He's gone out of business, and I got a call today. I haven't talked to him yet, but he's asking the question, can it get rezoned residential so he could sell it residential rather than a business? To me, that's a strategic question for us. Do we want the 116 corridor to be all business? Is that the long-term goal? Or do we want houses to be along there?
Yeah, like
I mean, there's already houses. Isn't there?
It used to be a house.
Yeah, I'm like, there's already houses.
Yeah, but the question is if those houses came up and then somebody wanted to buy it and put a business in there. I'm guessing along 116 we would say, yeah, we want as many businesses up and down 116 as we can get.
Mm-hmm.
But do we want to go back and have a house there?
You can't.
I mean, I think
you can't live on. You can't live on commercial property. Right?
You can't. It would have to be dual zoned and have to be commercial residential. Like,
Because I see it in a lot of towns.
like if you have apartments above your.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
This is
like
where
downtown Farmington.
the conflict here is: do you
Yeah,
want to
it's
do
all
something to
apartments.
help a resident, a guy who's had a business here and done a lot of good for the town, and blah blah blah, or do you stick with your strategic plan that says no, our corridor now on 116, the goal is to have businesses be there?
I would say. I mean, he's even been my lawyer. He's been great for the years that I've had to deal with him on estates and stuff. But my personal opinion would try to keep that commercial just for where it's at, because you got refuel, you got that, hog trough, coffee can. I mean,
Then there's one house there, but I know at one point they were talking about
What's the
tearing that
potential?
house down next to the coffee can.
Don't know. Maybe another lawyer.
It's a
Maybe that
perfect
or a
place for like
chiropractor,
a
dentist.
State Farm agent,
Yeah,
Tattoo.
something like that.
haircut place. Yeah.
Dispensary.
No.
We are just unfortunately not that big a town that is.
The smell alone.
Not a dispensary. A grower thing.
That's just
Okay,
not-
so you want me to look at language to grandfather for approximately a year?
To get us past Peoria's assessment.
And before that, I'm going to have a conversation with them to find out where they stand and see what they're going to do with the
That
property.
means we put no sway over Peoria's assessment. And we just wait for them to say whatever, and then we change after that.
And if he's really going to sell, he has 12
I don't
months.
like the time frame thing.
I don't
The
either.
time frame thing. I think it should just and we can
It's
revisit
grandfathered,
it
it's grandfathered
whenever we
until
want.
he sells.
I think putting the time frame thing on it's
Okay, let me
gonna
look at
agitate. I think because we can look at it anytime we want, right?
We're doing it now.
Yeah. So without a time frame, we can.
Yeah, the mechanics of changing the zoning on something is not a big deal. If we want to change Honiker's property back to residential, just go to the village board or to planning. They say yes, and it comes here and you say yes. But the question is, and one of the questions on the finding of facts, is it consistent with your plan? And our question, the question would be, is on that one anyway, do we want 116 corridor to be a business district?
Has that gone before the planning commission yet?
Well, I don't know that which one
Our planning commission.
has what gone. Honiker?
No. Changing that property to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they said yes. But all they do is recommend.
Right.
Wait, when you say they say yes,
They made the recommendation to rezone it to business. Tell you what, I'll work with Shanna. I'll work on multiple time frames. We'll have the conversation about that, and we'll bring something back to it. And in between now and then, I can send you guys emails, and we can get to see where we're at.
Yeah.
Okay. Sanitary sewer, Mr. Johnson.
sorry, refocus. Nothing on sanitary sewer. End of report. I do have the water shutoff report whenever you're ready.
Corner.
I have 24 shutoff letters, totaling $6,774.56.
I'm sorry, I messed up already.
I got it.
24 shut-off letters,
Mhm.
totaling $6,774.56.
74.
6774 period 56. Actual shut-offs, I have 2. 1 on level pay. I have 6 total homes in foreclosure. 1 foreclosure shut-off letter's been sent out, totaling $425.47. 425 period 47.
That's the total.
Foreclosure shut-off letters, yep, total 425.14 or 0.47, excuse me. Approximate gallons sold for the month of June is 2,341,956. That's 2,341,956, and end of report.
Get all that?
Mhm.
Okay. Mr. Brown, Mr. Weaver.
Buildings and grounds, I got nothing. You see that the building going up. Streets and alleys, they have nothing.
CDC, Mr. Sidai.
We're having the grant kickoff meetings this week, so we have 2 tomorrow. The TIF ones tomorrow, we just split them in 2 so that we have enough room. And then Thursday, we'll be doing BDD residential and BDD commercial. Basically, what the kickoff meetings do is we help them understand the process from this point forward. We make sure they understand right now what their total or maximum amount of grant's going to be. We give them all the paperwork that they need to fill out, and then it kind of launches them to go out and start the process. And so they know all the rules. Nobody can say, well, I didn't know this or I didn't know that. It's kind of a stake in the ground. And then from that point forward, we'll just be managing the projects until they're done and taking the pictures. So 4 meetings, 2 Tuesday, 2 Thursday. And that will be Sandra, Cassandra, Sarah, and I doing those.
Administration, Mr. Miller.
I have nothing.
Other business have teed up for the troops of Central Illinois. For a few years, we've always been a force sponsor. So I didn't know if the board would want to continue to do a foursome sponsor. Normally I played in that. Rod played last year.
Yeah.
Of course, you can play again this year if you want, because I don't want to play in the afternoon anymore. But Jim plays. We get Joe from Pleasant Valley to come up as a compliment to commend him for all the help that he gives Jim throughout the year, and vice versa. We invite Joe to come up, and then Sarah goes out and plays too.
In the past, we've done what?
Foursome sponsorship for $2,000.
$2,500.
No, it's 2.
Below that.
Oh,
Foursome.
I make a motion that we sponsor the foursome for $2,000.
Second.
Motion by Weaver, second by Pearson. Any further discussions, comments, questions? Mr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yeah.
Pearson,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
motion carried. You send that again?
I will,
You can just mail it straight to them.
I will email it and then send them a check.
Anybody else have anything else to come from the board?
So the next meeting is that the 13th? Is that?
Yes,
That's
July
3 weeks.
13th.
So is that 3 weeks?
It is.
Mhm.
I checked.
3 weeks.
I won't be here.
Slacker. I mean,
And then
vacation?
again,
Attaboy.
again.
It's not called vacation, it's called retirement.
Yeah.
Viking cruise.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
That's. I told him he'll love that one. They're gonna go to Europe
Yeah.
on the Rhine.
Amsterdam to Basel.
Awesome.
They have some stops in Germany. You like?
Yeah, most of the stops are in Germany, actually.
You can stop in Heidelberg.
I don't remember this. Most of them are.
The next board meeting is July 13th, 6 p.m. Nothing else comes to the board, meeting adjourned. Thanks, Danny. Thanks, Dan.